Good morning. It is February the 18th, 2020, and Bitcoin prices are breaking out of this tiny little 1, 2, 3 formation on the 5-minute bars at the bottom of a parallel channel inside our larger upward channel. So let's go through our indicator set and see what this is saying for Bitcoin's big move up, or are we topping out here and going to fail off? At the end of the video, I'm going to get into some details for the 1, 2, 3 formations that are setting up right now in the altcoins. We've had a nice move up, a good pullback, and there are opportunities scattered all over the place. That's what's at the end of the video. But before we get there, and even before we get into the Bitcoin stuff, I want to remind you that you can trade altcoins to grow your Bitcoin, but you can also trade gold and silver to grow your Bitcoin. There's a link in the description down below for Simple FX, where you can use your Bitcoin to trade world markets and grow your Bitcoin using world markets instead of just altcoins. Now let's jump into our indicator set for Bitcoin and see what's going on. Starting off with the weekly relative strength index. Been watching for this trend line to mimic something like this. And perhaps we're in a trend line that is going to be going right to the top. After we've come off the midline, we may be going right to the top. It's early in the week. We'll see how this turns out throughout the week as we go along, because that candle down there will change as the week unfolds. So let's see if we are moving up into a blow off top. Let's zoom into the closer time frames. So we were definitely watching for this to be a break all the way down. Usually when it breaks, we're going to come back and retest lower. But if we are getting into the big uptrend, what we're going to do is come back to the midline, and we're going to bounce off of that over and over and over again on the way up. And so now I'm watching to see, is this the bounce up? Let's zoom in on this from the daily time frame into the 12-hour. Much the same thing. That's the same little bounce up. 4-hour time frame, we can see that it is giving us enough of a divergence. We do have some reversal wicks going on here, some rejection wicks going on. I don't know. Let's continue to zoom in on this because it's right at the edge. Right at the edge. When we get to this time frame here, no, one back more. On the 4-hour time frame, we can start to do some just basic technical analysis where we can watch for these bull flags to be setting up. And then the bull flag, of course, is going to be inside a larger parallel channel. Then it becomes more important. So as we're setting up this chart and drawing things out, then we can start to see the patterns within the patterns and the RSI to go along with it. So every time we have this draw back, and consolidate and break out from here, we're going somewhere. Now let's do the weekly on balance volume and just zoom in to the volume at this tip here, because it has been pulling back as we're going along, but overall through this whole uptrend, it's steady pretty good in the daily. In the 12-hour, we can see that there's less volume going on down here. Let's zoom in. Indeed, we do have dumping here, and it's been as significant as the dumping all the way along, but not more so. I don't know. We'll zoom in a little bit more just to get the nature of this dumping. We can see a heavy one up here, heavy one here, less and less and less heavy. Each attempt down here has been less strong by the bears. So just a basic observation of the change against the price. As the price was trying to go lower, the volume just didn't have the balls to do it. So let's continue on. In the MACD, you can see I've got some writing on the chart. Let's zoom in because, of course, the cross here and the cross here, to me, with this flaring wider, seems like we're going to be hitting new all-time highs. It may pause at 16,000 and that, or may zoom up to 18,000 before spiking back down. We don't know, but what we're going to do is watch for these indicators. As it does hit the top, we're going to see a divergence in this RSI, and we don't see it yet. It's just a normal pullback and waver so far. As we zoom in and we're looking at the 12-hour time frame, it crossed later after this broke higher last time. Let's zoom in on this again now. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that it's crossed and the histogram has turned green. This is while we're having that tiny little 1, 2, 3 in the downward parallel channel that is within the larger parallel channel. So this does seem like a consolidation to me that is a good tiny little 1, 2, 3 formation that could be worth testing out. No way to know. Of course, Bitcoin could be erratic, but this is the kind of divergence that we look for. We've got lower lows here and we've got higher setup here. So this shows to me that it's like our changing momentum so that it's accelerating upward even though it's going downward, just like a ball would be when you throw it in the air. As soon as it leaves your hand, it is accelerating towards the ground even though it's still going up. So we have the same thing going on here. This is the elastic band effect. Now we can see it breaking out of this 1, 2, 3 as we're going through it. I love it. So let's go into the 1 week Ichimoku, because we're kind of watching to see what's going on with this, to see if it's going to be pulling back down here, and we'll zoom in more closely. In the daily time frame, we're just checking out this little parallel trend. We can see in the daily time frame that it's still plenty bullish. This will keep us bullish all the way sideways until this cloud, and it may be a buy signal. The 12-hour time frame has crossed, and that's where I've got marked out here, is that the blue line is crossed below the red, which isn't terminal. This will happen and give us the buy signal in the Ichimoku cloud uptrend if it crosses. So what happens here is as the blue crosses the red and the price comes towards the cloud, when the blue crosses back up above the red and we're still above the cloud, that is the buy signal in the Ichimoku cloud uptrend. So now that we have the blue line crossing below the red and this tiny little 1, 2, 3 shaping up here, it really could cross again quickly and give us that buy signal in the uptrend again. So the 4-hour has crossed negative earlier. Yesterday we observed this. It's going through the cloud, which isn't abnormal. This is a normal part of what we're seeing in the larger structure, if I drew that line straight. So it's not abnormal at all to come down through the cloud here, and overreacting to the 4-hour may be good if your trading plan is short-term like this, but for me, I don't want to even be bothered with it. On the 1-hour time frame, we're getting confirmation now. The blue has crossed above the red. We are breaking this 1, 2, 3 formation right now as I'm recording. Wonderful stuff to have this documented while it's happening, to demonstrate these 1, 2, 3s and how powerful they are, and just remind you that what is going on with the altcoins setting up right now, they are going to outperform Bitcoin for the next while. Bitcoin dominance is already in the trend, and we are going to rock and roll. Let's go to the Bollinger Bands. We're from the bottom to the top, and the last time we did that, we stayed like this all the way along in the weekly chart. Last time we went from bottom to top, we stayed above here, and we just stayed above all the way along. So now I'm really watching to see in the weekly Bollinger Bands to see all 4 of these channels being on an upward trend. We are going somewhere when we get to that point, and it could be happening quick. Let's zoom in. So the daily has come back to our 1, 2, 3 on the small time frame within our larger uptrend again, and when the 1, 2, 3 right to the midline and bouncing off of that with some rejection wicks, I must say. Beautiful, beautiful. In the 12-hour time frame came down to the mean reversion as we saw yesterday. It came up to the mean reversion, and each of these mean reversions on the 12-hour time frame gave us a little 1, 2, 3 formation to verify it when it happened. I'm getting much more confident with these mean reversions now in the Bollinger Bands after these months of study, especially when they line up with the 4-hour, and we observed this in yesterday's episode. Awesome stuff to go back on. Here again we are with that mean reversion, but I don't really want to get too excited about the 1-hour mean reversions. At any rate, we do have the 1, 2, 3 formation setting up here at really beautiful technical levels all the way along. Now, I want to finish with a quick look at what's going on with Bitcoin dominance versus Bitcoin, because as Bitcoin is going up here, Bitcoin dominance is dropping. That means that altcoins are going up faster than Bitcoin. When Bitcoin prices are going up and Bitcoin dominance is dropping, that means altcoins are going up in US dollar faster. And since altcoins are going up in US dollar faster than Bitcoin is, it makes sense to be having our portfolio of cryptos, especially right now. This has been the best time to be setting things up. This page shows what you might have been able to earn if you had already been following our pro alerts from the very beginning. We've been building out our crypto portfolio, and we have so many great holds right now. Absolutely fantastic setups here. And the amazing thing is that now the alts have pulled back and they are ready for an add-on phase. So if you are missing out on the alts and you don't have a clear strategy, be sure to at least go to the homepage of the website. If you're an altcoin holder and you're afraid of missing profits, well, you can learn this foolproof trading plan that you can use on every altcoin you own. plus a little trick that'll guarantee you won't get liquidated ever again so long as you follow this trick. And I want you to download this free webinar and the companion study guide. Go over it and over it and over it. The people who have made most success with this guide told me that they're going through it 3 times before they get all the information out of it. It took me a long time to pack 5 years of training into 27 minutes of training. It took me 5 years to boil down what I'm teaching into a 27-minute webinar and provide a campaign study guide and to provide a companion study guide for you so that you can learn this stuff on your own. You can practice this stuff. If you'd like to have help with the work of trading, be sure to check out the Bull Market Watch or the Pro Alerts. Not only will it help solve a lot of the work of the trading for you, it helps set up as a guide to help you build the daily habits of a successful trader. Thanks again, and we'll see you over on Discord. Ciao.